It's Breaking the News. I'm Jana Shortle. From years of rising inflation and teacher salaries to a more recent federal funding freeze, a lot of the schools in our state have been telling you that there are budget shortfalls. And last night, the St. Paul School District joined a growing list of districts asking the taxpayer to make up the difference. Here's Kent.
At a time when many Minnesota school districts have had to cut costs in response to budget shortfalls, St. Paul still stands out.
Over the past couple of years, St. Paul Public Schools has had to make nearly $165 million in reductions.
New Superintendent Dr. Stacy Stanley says that includes a $51 million deficit in the coming school year, which they'll try to absorb by spending down $35.5 million in rainy day funds, paired with more than $15.5 million in spending cuts.
We've done our very best to make certain that we are keeping as much of that out of the classroom. The reductions for next school year, $51.1 million, nearly 74% of those reductions were actually in focused on administration.
But with another $37 million shortfall on the horizon the following year, the school board unanimously voted to ask residents to make up the difference.
No longer cutting around the edges anymore. We would have to certainly focus on programming the arts, music, career and college readiness, our language and our cultural programs. All of those programs are what our families told us in a survey they value most.
The $37 million referendum will certainly test how much they value them. The owner of a median valued home would pay an additional $309 in school taxes in 2026, or about $26 more a month, according to the district. Still, when asked about that tax increase in a recent survey, 68% of the 700 respondents said they support or strongly support it.
The community of St. Paul has always supported St. Paul Public Schools, but I don't want to take that for granted.
Especially at a time when the same survey revealed that more than 50% of residents may still oppose such a levy due to inflation and cost of living or the rising taxes in general. And just last year, St. Paul voters rejected a ballot measure that would have raised property taxes to support childcare for families in need.
It is a big ask.
Yeah, it is a big ask. I know that we are in a different time. I know that pocketbooks are stretched. There are a lot of things that are happening. And so I really want to make sure that we're able to get out in our community and converse with as many constituents as possible to help them really understand what this impact will be.
And on that note, the district launched this website today explaining its reasoning for the referendum. And Dr. Stanley said she'll have a tent at Rondo Days this weekend where she will be available to answer questions from residents. She says it will be the first of many reach out sessions. Jana.
Yeah, Dr. Stanley's new to this job. Good on her for showing up in person at Rondo Days to take the questions herself. And I couldn't help but notice in that interview, Kent, that she seemed really, kind of sobered by the idea of how much money this is, like how serious it was.
Yeah, I spoke to her just a few weeks ago, and she hasn't really been on the job that long, but she knew, just as all of us have, the limitations facing the district for years. I mean, they've been dealing with declining enrollment going back 10 years now. They finally saw a bump in the last year, but certainly there's just so many things that have been coming down the road since the last levy in 2018.
Well, certainly a heavy lift, but she was up for the job, so hopefully it all works out in St. Paul, especially for those students and families. We thank you, Kent. We'll be right back.